With approximately 1 in 18,000 to 20,000 people born with albinism, a large number of people living with albinism face discrimination and the risk of being killed or raped for ritual purposes, especially in African countries in the last several generations. However, with present-age civilization, increased awareness is being created for the better treatment of people living with albinism, now left at an acronym PWA. Tonight on Moments, we take a look at the way people with albinism are perceived in modern times vis-a-vis the great feat they're achieving daily in our society. Today on Moments, we discuss the new face of albinism.
Welcome back to Moments Nigeria. Today on the show, we're talking about the new face of albinism, and we're joined by Damilola Onafunwa. He's a Lagos-based visual artist working in the field of documentary photography, focused on social issues and human interest stories, a fellow at ACOMA, a fellowship of Africans telling African stories. He's also a member of the African Photojournalist Database. We also have with us Mr. Ugochukwu Gilbert Orji. He holds a bachelor's degree in accountancy from the University of Nigeria. Growing up wasn't easy for him as he struggled with the stereotype attached to people living with albinism from decades ago, and he says some of those struggles are still there. Welcome to Moments. So lovely to have both of you on the show. Much. So, Mr. Orji, I want to come to you, and I just want to, talk a bit about your experiences growing up and how that was for you, and what sort of what you faced.
I am the first child of my parents, first among 5 children. We have 4 persons living with albinism, and growing up wasn't too easy because I was sort of the guinea pig. My parents, being the first child, they didn't really understand, and they had to do what they could do to make sure that they make me feel comfortable. I liked my family because the love was there, and that is a very key part of dealing with persons living with albinism. Though in school, you find people treating you differently out of ignorance.
Of course.
Yes, I remember that when I was in nursery, primary school, especially when it comes to classroom, I find myself having my seat separate from my classmates, especially closer to the blackboard. But as I grew into my teenage years, I became more conscious. I started understanding how the society see people like us. The stereotypes, the name calling, and the bullying at times. But I'm dealing with it.
Wow.
As I was reading about you, I find that you believe you're a humanitarian by nature.
Yes.
What was it about your experiences growing up that made you want to reach out to people as opposed to want to shelter yourself and draw into your own personality?
Apart from being someone living with albinism, I'm a very social person.
Okay.
I have friends. In fact, at times I forget that I'm like this until I see someone like me. So it's like that. Growing up was interesting, but over 10 years ago, I discovered that I needed to do more about this cause, and then that was how I took interest in it. And since then, I've been in the forefront of advocacy for persons living with albinism.
Oh, that's so fantastic. That's so
Brilliant.
fantastic to hear. Ms. Damilola, let's come to you, because I know that you're a documentary photographer, and you're doing a series at the moment that's seeking to highlight the plight of people living with albinism. So can you talk to us a bit about...
Part of my job, or what my work is about telling stories, telling stories of humans. So I decided a while ago, about 2 years ago, that I was going to do this story because of, I think it was memories, like way back, of how, the experiences that I had, the people that I came in contact with living with albinism. And then I decided to do this project that I called Angels Among Men. And most of the stories that I've seen relating to albinism usually come from the angle of, oh, they're discriminated, they're punished, they're So I wanted to bring a new angle to this. So
Yes.
why don't we celebrate these people who have lived above the stereotypes? There have been stereotypes. There would always be.
Yeah.
So why don't we just boost the confidence of people living with albinism, and at the same time educate people that, see, this guy is just as human as you are.
Yeah.
So that's why I decided I was going to do the project.
And I like that you're just breaking the stereotype, because you say there's four, Mr. Orji, there's 4 of you in your household who
Yes.
are living with
4 out
albinism.
of 5 children.
4
yes.
out of 5 children.
Yes.
Did you each have different experiences, or did you find that you all overcame the same challenges growing up?
Well, for us, just as I mentioned earlier, love from the family is paramount.
Yes.
We had that love, and we still have the love. And once you know that you have that love at home, whatever you face outside doesn't really bother you, because you come home and you are reassured
It's a safe
that
environment.
you are a great person.
Were you the first generation of people living with albinism in your family?
To the best of my knowledge, yes, except if some generations back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to talk about the modern day, because obviously back then people weren't as knowledgeable. We didn't have, wide access to the internet like we do today. And, I feel like, we've moved on, and that people are more accepting these days and do understand a lot more about it. There's not so much ignorance. But from your perspective, when you look at the younger generation of people living with albinism, do you think their lives are a lot easier and they have, there's a lot more acceptance?
To be frank with you, the ignorance is still there. People are still ignorant, even in this age. Irrespective of the social media age, they are still ignorant, even among the so-called educated ones. The younger ones are better now because they are more exposed to information, unlike during our days. I had to read medical books for me to understand what albinism is all about, the do's and the don'ts, especially staying away from the sun.
Yes.
And that is why, if I may blow my trumpet, I look good this way.
You do look good.
You look fantastic. Skin is on fleek.
Yes.
Loving it. Well, thank
So,
you.
thankfully, the newer generation are luckier.
Thank you so much to you both. Well, it's now time for a short break, after which we'll be meeting Onome Akinlolu, a person living with albinism, a mother and a wife. She'll also be joined by young Divine Ugochukwu, who is an 8-year-old person living with albinism. We will meet them shortly. You're watching Moments Nigeria, and we've been talking about the new face of albinism on the show today. Joining us now is Onome Akinlolu Majaro, who's a 27-year-old mass communication graduate from the University of Lagos. She's a person living with albinism whose wedding photos went viral in 2015 for being just too beautiful. She really is stunning. She's also the co-founder of the OAM Foundation, and we are also joined by 8-year-old Divine Ugochukwu, who is an actor and a student. Nice to have you both on the show.
Thank you for having
me. Young lady.
Young madam.
You look beautiful, Divine.
Thank you.
So Divine, talk to us. You're just the cutest, actually. But talk to us about, how it's like at school, how your friends relate to you, and how you feel you get on, with everybody at school.
Sometimes I don't like my friends calling me Oyibo Pepe. So if they put Pepe, I'll be annoyed. So if they not put Pepe, if they call me Oyibo, I'll not be annoyed.
Oh, okay, and have you told them they should stop putting pepper?
No.
Well, you should tell them how you feel so they can know and they will stop doing it.
They won't.
I like that you're sharing your experience, Divine, because Onome, I know that growing up, your mom was your greatest support system, because there were days you didn't actually want to go to school because of the name calling, right?
Yes.
Tell us how big of a role, a warm home, a loving home plays in just boosting your confidence.
When you have love and support from the house, no matter what you face outside, it doesn't really matter. Like growing up, my mom would call me all the names in the book. She would call me MTN, Glow, Oyibo, Afi, Nepa. She would even do, can you see me? And then my friends were always asking her, oh, why are you doing this? She's like, so that when she goes out there and someone is like, Oyibo, Albino, Afi, Oyibo, Pepe, and they're singing for her, she knows that I did it with love. So whenever somebody's like Oyibo, she would see my face. It's my voice she would hear, and it would calm her down. And she would just shrug it off. It's one of those things. After all, mom calls me Oyibo.
Wow.
So that was her strategy. And I think it worked.
Oh, fantastic. And you know, back in 2015, like we were saying in the intro, you got married. Your husband isn't a person living with albinism.
Yeah.
Your wedding photos were stunning. I've seen them myself.
Thank you.
How was that? You know, even just when you were dating your husband, did you face any challenges? And when you eventually got married, did you face any challenges, and then did you have to educate him about anything, you know, to do with yourself?
Well, before he said that, the moment he met me and realized that, okay, I like this girl and there's a future, he read up on albinism. So he got educated, he read the facts, the myths, the stereotypes, read what to expect and what not to expect. And so he went in well informed. One thing my mom always instilled in me, she's like, do not drop your standards. I'm giving you the best education. I trained you well, I raised you right, you did your master's in the UK, you're chauffeur driven. I've raised you, you have a standard. I'm not saying look down on people. I'm saying no
Respect
matter
yourself.
what, you know, just find someone that loves you for who you are and be with that person, because your complexion, my girl, it will always be used against you when you have kids, when you're married, when you're successful. So that person that is home, that is safe, when I'm gone, that you look at that person and go, oh, okay. And that's what I did with him. I made sure that if I'm going to settle with you, you would know that, yes, they say black don't crack, but I'm a PWA, so you know.
That don't crack either.
That don't crack too much still.
A lot of this, you know, sounds like it comes from a foundation of education.
Yes.
So, Divine, I want to know, at school, are they teaching you about why you are the way they are? Are they teaching your other mates at school? Do they talk about it when you're at school, so that the other kids can know that you're perfectly fine and normal and beautiful like they are as well?
I am class captain in the school, but they used to make noise. I told them to stop making noise, so I carry skin every time to flog them.
Oh, you're really a disciplinarian.
Okay.
You don't take any nonsense. So Divine, I also want to talk. I know you have a younger brother, yes, and I know that when your mom was pregnant with your younger brother, you laid your hands on her stomach and you said something. Can you remember what you said?
Yes.
Can you tell us?
Tell us the story.
I told her to go to give me baby. That's why.
Would you be excited to have another brother or a sister who looked exactly like you?
Yes.
What do you like to do now for fun with your friends?
I have to play with them sometimes.
Yeah.
And I have to respect them.
Okay, respect is very important. Yes, and I wanted to just talk about, you know, confidence. You have so much confidence, and you attribute it to your mum.
Yes.
And you mentioned that when you were getting married, people would say, "Oh my God, how did you do it?" So,
Yes.
how can other people, people living with albinism, really kind of boost their own confidence to the point? Because sometimes, you know, it's a mindset thing as well, where maybe you don't feel that certain things are for you, so you don't go after them. So, how can they boost their confidence to really live their, you know, fullest lives?
When you're, as a PW, when you're having a bad day thanks to like negative comments or stereotype or all the myths surrounding albinism, you just realize that, look, I'm beautifully and wonderfully made and I deserve this and I can get there. Even the level I am at now, sometimes I get like a bad day. Like sometimes the craziest thing happened over the weekend. I went to Gulf and then this area boy was like, oh, I thought you were a white person, you're even an Afin, please move from here. Now, I've heard this all my life, but that one time it bugged me for some reasons. And I kept saying, oh, if I'm dark now, nobody would be telling me move from here, no one will call me, nobody will mistake me for a Moyibo, I'll just live my regular life. Sometimes it happens, even the best of us, you just have to rise above and, you know that you're awesome, you got this. Yes. Think that even though the foundation is from the house, it's still from within. You have to love yourself. I love myself, I always try to look good. I always try to say, you know what, girl, you got this. It's very important.
You got
Very,
this. And
you definitely do.
Divine, I know you got this as well. What was it like when you were in the movie?
I acted marvelous film.
And did you wear makeup? Did they put makeup on you?
No.
No? You kept it natural?
Yes.
And your hair, did you keep your hair like this?
No.
No.
What was in your hair?
Wig.
Wig.
You wore a wig! Lucky you. I wasn't allowed to wear wigs when I was 8, so you're lucky. I want to sum up the exposure that she's getting, the experience that she's getting. I mean, she's fortunate to come from a family that are letting her, participate in movies. And I know your foundation is doing something with regards to subsidizing sunscreen, because it's, 4,000 to 5,000 for a bottle of sunscreen. So, what are some of the things you're doing to make sunscreen more accessible to PWAs?
We're trying, like you said, we're trying to subsidize it. So now we're reaching out to companies that manufacture and produce sunscreens, and we're like, look, we need this for PWs. Can you give it to us at a discount? Or can you give it to us at a certain percentage less? And then we would cover up and then give it out to people that can't afford it. That's what we do. And we also grant scholarships. But basically, the main thing we do is create awareness on albinism online. We do social campaigns. Basically, that's what we do.
That's amazing.
It's amazing initiatives. Thank you so much, Onome.
Thank you. Onome, thank you so much for your time. This has been very enlightening.
Thank you, Divine,
for having me.
joining us.
Divine, next time you better just with us more. Eh? We want to hear all your stories.
Exactly.
You say you promise.
I promise.
Thank you so much.